Welcome back. Today we are going to read and explore Rabindranath Tagore's short story Guest or Atithi. In our previous video, we had discussed the features of short stories that Rabindranath Tagore followed. We had also discussed the transcendental man as was described by Tagore in his essay, The Religion of Man. Today we are going to start reading the chapter. So let's begin. Motilal Babu, zamindar of Kathalia, was returning home with his family by boat. So this particular zamindar was returning home with his family by boat. One afternoon, he moored the boat near a riverside market so that their meal could be prepared. And since they were traveling by boat, one particular afternoon, they tied up the boat near a riverside market so that they could prepare their food for the day. A Brahmin boy came over and asked, "Where are you going, Babu?" The boy was not more than 15 or 16. So suddenly a Brahmin boy appeared and asked Motilal Babu about where he was going. And the boy was quite young. He was not more than 15 or 16. "Kathalia," replied Motilal Babu. "Could you drop me at Nondigram on the way?" Motilal consented. "What's your name?" he asked. "Tarapada," said the boy. The boy requested Motilal Babu that whether he could drop him at Nondigram on his way. Motilal Babu consented. He agreed that he would indeed drop this particular boy. He inquired about his name and the boy replied that his name was Tarapada. The fair-skinned boy was beautiful to look at. His smile and his large eyes had the grace of youth. So he was a boy who appeared to be quite pleasant to look at. He had beautiful eyes. He was filled with the grace of youth. His body, bare except for a stained dhoti, was free of any excess. So he was not adorned with excess. He had the bare minimum. He had a stained dhoti around him and the rest of his body was bare. As if lovingly curved by a sculptor, or as if in a previous life he had been a young sage whose pure religious devotion had removed all grossness, honed him to gleaming Brahminical perfection. So he appeared almost perfect. It seemed that he might have been a sage in his previous life, and by his devotion, all sorts of grossness, all sorts of ugliness have been removed from his physical feature. "Come and wash, Baba," said Motilal Babu tenderly. "You can eat with us." So Motilal Babu instantly, when he looked at the boy, he felt a sense of kindness within him. He affectionately invited him to share lunch with them. Motilal's servant was Hindustani. He was not very good at cutting up fish. Tarapada took over and soon had the dish ready and had cooked some vegetables too with practiced skill. So Tarapada was not only good to look at and appeared devotional and religious, he was also quite skillful. Motilal's servant, the Zamindar Babu's servant, was not someone who was skilled in cutting fish. Tarapada took over and he cooked the dish in an instant, and he also prepared two other vegetables with practiced skill. That is, it appeared that he practiced this. He was quite skillful in cooking such things. He then took a dip in a river and, opening his bundle, produced a clean white garment and a small wooden comb. So in his bundle also he did not have excess amount of anything. He had some clean clothing and he had a comb to comb his hair. He sleeked his long hair away from his forehead. That is, he moved away the long hair from his forehead and down to his neck, adjusted his glistening sacred thread and stepped on the boat. So once he was done with the work, he cleaned himself and he stepped on the boat. Motilal Babu invited him into the cabin. His wife and his 9-year-old daughter were there. His wife Annapurna was tenderly attracted to the boy when she saw him and wondered, whose child is he? Where has he come from? How could his mother bear to abandon him? So the moment Motilal Babu's wife Annapurna looked at the boy, she was filled with motherly affection and she wondered, whose child is this and how could the child's mother bear to stay away from this child? She placed mats for Motilal and the boy to sit on side by side. The boy was not a big eater. Annapurna felt he must be shy and tried to get him to eat this or that. But when he had finished, he would not be tempted to more. So it seemed that the boy had a mind of his own. He would not indulge in any sort of excess, not only in his appearance, but also when he had his food, he would have measured portions of his food. Annapurna initially thought that the child was shy, but she soon realized that he was very particular about his preferences and he did not eat much. He clearly did everything according to his own wishes, but with such ease that there was nothing assertive about him. He was not at all shy. So he was not at all shy. He did what he wished, but he did it with so much of grace and in a certain manner that it never appeared to others as rude. When everyone had eaten, Annapurna sat him next to her and asked him about his background. She didn't gather much, so after they were done with the lunch, Annapurna called the young boy and asked him about his whereabouts, about his family. She couldn't get much information out of him. All she could establish was that the boy had run away from home of his own volition at the age of 7 or 8. So she only got to know that the child had run away from his house and it was his own choice to run away, and he was perhaps 7 or 8 at that point of time. "Isn't your mother alive?" asked Annapurna. "She is," said Tarapada. "Doesn't she love you?" asked Annapurna. So Annapurna is quite shocked by this revelation and she thinks that, isn't this child's mother alive? And Tarapada answered that she is. She is even more astonished and she asked, "Doesn't she love you?" Tarapada seemed to find this question peculiar. Tarapada found this question strange. He answered, "Why shouldn't she love me?" he said, laughing. "Then why did you leave her?" said Annapurna. So Annapurna was, "Then why did you run away from your home?" "She has 4 more sons and 3 daughters," said Tarapada. So Tarapada's reason was that she had other sons as well. She had 4 sons and 3 daughters. So he thought that it was all right for him to get away from his house. Tarapada was young, so his life story was brief. But the boy was a complete original. But the boy was unique. His story was short because he was a young man. But there was something unique about this particular boy. He was his parents' 4th son and was still a baby when his father died. Despite there being so many in the house, Tarapada was the darling of all. So Tarapada was a middle child and his father died when he was quite young. But Tarapada was loved by all. Mother, brothers, sisters and neighbors doted on him. So everyone adored him. So much so that his tutor never beat him. Everyone would have been appalled if he had. So he was such a good child that his tutor also never hit him. And if he would, everyone else would be horrified or shocked or annoyed on his behalf. There was no reason for him to leave. So there was no particular reason why one should leave home, because he was loved, adored and cared by everyone. Half-starved boys who constantly stole fruit from trees and were thrashed by the owners of the trees, they never strayed from the village or their scolding mothers. So even boys who would be mischievous and disliked by everyone, they would also not leave their own villages. But this boy, who was adored by everyone, left everything. But this darling of everyone joined a touring Jatra troupe and left his village without a thought. But this particular child, who was darling, who was adored by everyone, not only by his family but also neighbors, by the entire village, he left suddenly. And where did he go? He joined a touring Jatra troupe. Now, what is a Jatra troupe? It is a group of performers who were well versed in Bengali musical theatre. They would sing, they would recite, and they would tour different places and perform. So this particular boy joined this troupe and left his village without a second thought. Why did this happen? We will find that out in our next video. Meanwhile, if you like my work, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Please do not forget to write your thoughts, your comments about the chapters, about the things that you feel like expressing in the comment section. I will meet you all again in the next video. Thank you for watching.